Now it's time for Lefties Losing It, and I can't get enough of the humiliation ritual MSNBC host Joe and Mika are subjecting themselves to, proving to their dim-witted audience that they are utterly unprincipled, unscrupulous. Let's have another look at the sort of things they were saying before the election and what they're saying now.
And then he says that the news network that is most critical of him should be taken off the air. This is not a reach. I could go back and talk about Nazi Germany, and I do it without any concerns whatsoever. And if people can't start drawing the parallels, well, you're just stupid, or you have your head in the sand, or you're one of them.
You're one of them, yes. That was before the election, but now they've met with Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago, a meeting they begged for. Yes, they begged to meet the man that they likened to Hitler.
We would appreciate the opportunity to speak with the president-elect himself. On Friday, we were given the opportunity to do just that. Joe and I went to Mar-a-Lago to meet personally with President-elect Trump.
And it should surprise no one that the View's Sunny Hostin had a big problem with Joe and Mika normalising Donald Trump, normalising the guy who just won the election in a landslide.
And I don't think you need to sit down for 90 minutes at Mar-a-Lago and kiss his ring to be able to speak truth and to be able to cover a story. So maybe they're not journalists in the true sense. Maybe they're saying that they're opinion journalists. But we have to remember that Trump is the guy who ushered in the era of fake news.
Meow. Ooh, hear that, Mika and Joe Scarborough? You two aren't real journalists. And Sonny, Donald Trump did not usher in the era of fake news. He was just the one to call out your lies and activism masquerading as journalism. Like the fake news you spread about Matt Gaetz in recent days, which resulted in this apology earlier today.
Sonny, you have a legal note.
I do have a legal note. Thank you, Whoopi. Matt Gaetz has long denied all allegations, calling the claims, quote, invented, and saying in a statement to ABC News that this false smear following a 3-year criminal investigation should be viewed with great skepticism, that DOJ investigation was closed with no charges being brought.
I'm not sure how sincere that sour-faced apology was from Sonny. Maybe Matt Gaetz should demand another one until she gets it right. And if you want to know why Matt Gaetz scares them so much, then have a look at this. Whether he's questioning the Secretary of Defense about his dud predictions or berating fellow politicians for being owned by lobbyists, Matt Gaetz is fearless.
You guys told us that Russia couldn't lose. You told us that the Taliban couldn't immediately win. And so I guess I'm wondering, what in the $773 billion that you're requesting today is going to help you make assessments that are accurate in the face of so many blown calls? I take no lecture on asking patriotic Americans to weigh in and contribute to this fight from those who would grovel and bend knee for the lobbyists and special interests who own our leadership, who have, boo all you want, who have hollowed out this town and have borrowed against the future of our future generations. I'll be happy to fund my political operation through the work of hardworking Americans, $10 and $20 and $30 at a time, and you all keep showing up at the lobbyist fundraisers and see how that goes for you.
Let's have some fun now with a couple of lefties losing it, protesting Donald Trump. But just don't ask them to explain why they're protesting. That's where their bold, brave activism falls apart.
How important are women's rights?
More important than yours and mine.
What rights do men have that women don't?
I think I'm done here today, guys.
What rights do men have that women don't?
Ew, gross. Doesn't that sum up the modern anti-Trump left? Just angry, ill-informed attention seekers. And it's not new. Not only are these anti-Trump weirdos angry and full of bile, they're also massive hypocrites. They will even abuse the minorities they pretend to care about if those minorities think for themselves and vote accordingly. Remember this charming woman? Here's a little throwback to a white lefty woman losing it at Latino voters because they're backing Donald Trump.
These are voters who are either illiterate, they can't read, they are voting for an like Trump. That's why I'm here.
Isn't it their right to vote who they want to?
And it's my right to tell them they're idiots, ignorant, they're illiterate, they can't read, they can't assess. All they do is watch Fox News. That's their whole experience, and know that they hate Cuba and Castro. It's ridiculous.
Do you support Cuba?
Yes, I do.
Even though they're communists?
Yes, I do. I'm a socialist.
And Republicans should pray that their political opponents remain as dumb and irrational as the likes of the Washington Post's Jennifer Rubin. Here she advises the Democrats to double down on that hate and hysteria to win.
And you have to be pithy. What do I mean by pithy? How about this? Republicans want to kill your kids. It's actually true. If you're going to oppose vaccinations, if you're going to stop breakthrough medical research.
There you go. Republicans want to kill your kids. A winning strategy there for the Democrats. Let's hope they listen to her. Can you believe what has become of the once respected Washington Post? Plenty more lefties losing it with my next guest, documentary filmmaker and commentator Ami Horowitz. Ami, President-elect Donald Trump watched on as Elon Musk's SpaceX conducted another successful launch of its Starship rocket.
3, 2, 1.
I've got to say, you look like a proud father there. And President Trump also became a student for a few minutes as Elon Musk explained what was about to happen.
It's literally trying to use its entire body as a brake, and then it's using these flaps to just control its position. You try to achieve roughly a 70-degree angle of attack.
Ami, I've got to say, it looks like America is back.
Yeah, of course you have the entire left outrage that Elon Musk would be involved in any way, shape, or form with the government. I mean, why would you want one of the most talented human beings on earth trying to help us move this country forward? Look, Elon Musk didn't build 3 businesses. He built 3 industries, okay? This is a guy that's being demonized because they hate, what do they hate? They hate private enterprise. They want the government not to be streamlined. They want the government bigger. They want more people in the government doles, not less people, and they see Elon Musk as a danger to that principle. Look, I'll tell you what, wake me up when Elon Musk fails at a single thing, and then let's maybe have a conversation.
Well, they did used to love him when he was the champion of electric cars, when he was leading that industry. He was seen as a bit of a hero, and he was a Democrat who donated to the Democrats. As soon as he got red-pilled and he saw just what the left had turned into, that's when they turned against him. So it just shows you, it doesn't matter what you do, how successful you are, if you deviate from that world, they will come after you. I want to ask you about Trump's promise to start mass deportations on day 1 of his administration. What can we expect to see from that?
Yeah, I don't really have to prognosticate or guess because he's already done it, right? I mean, he stopped illegal immigration into this country because he had remain in Mexico. He made asylum laws tougher. He built a wall. He deported people. We can all see this going forward. Look, he is going to use executive power on day 1, which, by the way, the executive power that Biden simply said he couldn't find, except for use it for every other purpose under the sun other than immigration. The key is going to be crafting this in a way that will, A, get through the courts, and B, survive the next administration. Now, how does he get through the courts? He has a much easier playing field because he's elected 200 federal judges his first time around. And also he has a Supreme Court that's obviously tilted toward him. Now, when it comes to making sure, because remember, executive order can be overturned by the next administration. That's why we've had this problem of Republican president, Democratic president, all these things ping-ponging back and forth. Look, it's now going to be easier for him to basically make it executive power proof by creating legislation through bills, because now he controls not only the executive branch, obviously, but also the Senate and Congress. They can push through laws that will restrict immigration. Now, the problem is going to be really deportation, because from a logistical perspective, first of all, because look, if he's able to deport 1 million people a year, which is a huge number. Look, Obama was called the deporter in chief. He only deported 500,000. So if you double that to 1 million, if you do that for 4 years, that's only a third of the 12 million illegals that came across the border under Joe Biden. So it's tough. And also, he's going to be fighting against essentially a blue wall, if I may, of governors and of mayors who are going to fight against deportation. Michelle Wu of Boston, for example, came out publicly. J.B. Pritzker came out publicly saying they're going to fight against it. He's going to have that problem. But the problem that the Democrats are having is this is the will of the people. They elected, he didn't hide, right? Trump didn't hide what he wanted to do with immigration. The people elected him knowing that, actually because of that. So good luck, Democrats.
Yep. Yeah, he's got a clear mandate. Like you said, he controls the House, the Senate, obviously the presidency. He's got the popular vote. Clear mandate, undeniable. The issue of election integrity is still there, though. You would think with such a resounding victory, it wouldn't be such an issue. But you've got a case in Pennsylvania, a Democrat-led case. They were trying to count illegal mail-in ballots. That went all the way to the state's high court. They ruled that that wasn't going to happen. But why are they still even counting votes 2 weeks after the election? We have a state like Florida, which has got a significantly high population. They counted almost every single vote on election night. But in other parts of the country, they're still counting.
Yeah, Democrat Bob Casey refuses to concede. Hero of the Republic, right? Yeah, do I smell some hypocrisy here possibly, Rita? I don't know. The Democrats want to continue counting illegal ballots, but they are the protectors of democracy. I don't know. Hypocrisy, anybody? Look, yes, it's a massive problem the Democrats have in their hand. And also, look, the other problem they have is that even people among, look, John Fetterman, who I have said over and over again is a guy who I love, I've promoted, even though he's a Democrat. Josh Shapiro, who we've named I don't know how many times on this show. They are Democrats of Pennsylvania who are fighting against this. Good for them for upholding American democracy. I'm just curious, do you think Trump is actually going to use lawfare to go after Bob Casey and Democrats? I don't think so.
Well, maybe he should. Maybe that's the way you stop them behaving like this. There's certainly plenty in the Trump camp who do want to have a bit of a reckoning and see a few people pursued for their behaviour. The View. We know we love The View on this program. It gives us so much content. And one of the hosts of The View, Whoopi Goldberg, seems to have got herself in a bit of hot water, but she's doubling down on her claims that a bakery, Holtman's Bakery in Staten Island, refused to take her order because of her political views. The bakery says they were experiencing mechanical issues. They've got a 60-year-old boiler that was not working when Whoopi's request came through, but Whoopi is not accepting that, and she's had this to say.
It does seem a little odd that when we called a few weeks before my birthday and we were told they couldn't process the order for my birthday because of an equipment failure.
Now, Whoopi Goldberg first complained about this on The View on an episode during an episode that was celebrating her birthday, her 69th birthday. And there's now been so much criticism, Army, not just from the customers of this bakery, but also from politicians and people in the legal fraternity encouraging the bakery to sue Whoopi, saying that they've been defamed by this suggestion that they're not taking orders because of her political beliefs.
Yeah, look, I'm not a big fan of being overly litigious unless necessary. I will remind Whoopi Goldberg talking about bakeries, that a bakery in Ohio sued Oberlin College and won $37 million for defamation, saying the bakery was racist when they in fact were not. So I would say be very careful, Whoopi, when you talk about accusing bakeries. Look, this tracks with Whoopi Goldberg. She bathed in victimhood. She wants to be a victim. She jumps at the chance of being a victim. This is an opportunity for her to construct something out of probably sounds like whole cloth. Look, this is funny because this is really projection on the side of the left. It's the left who likes to use economic muscle and boycott to punish their opponents. Here's another example of that, where she's trying to put a bakery that has been around for 100 years, this is prohibition, out of business. It's unfortunate, it's gross, but really kind of conforms with who she is.
Yep, and she didn't name the bakery on The View, but she named the location, and it was clear to everybody who she was talking about. So very quickly this became a story, and I do like that the bakery and its customers are fighting back. I think we all need to apologise to Oprah, because there were claims circulating that her company received $1 million for that Kamala Harris interview, town hall, whatever you want to call it. It was just a fluff piece. It looks like she was actually paid $2.5 million. Now, Oprah will say this was for the production costs, for the salaries of everybody involved, but normally you don't charge the interview subject to interview them. This is all very strange.
Yeah, look, Rita, you and I are in the content production business, right? We have a sense of what things cost. I saw the interview that she did. I saw that town hall. Yeah, that did not cost $2.5 million. And by the way, also let's not forget that the Call Me Daddy or Smack Me and Call Me Daddy podcast she did, she also paid them, well into the six figures as well, where she basically shot it from a hotel room and had some plastic or cardboard behind her. This is not what things cost. You and I know that. It sounds kind of fishy. What I find interesting, though, is that for all that money, that $2.5 million that she spent on Oprah Winfrey, she only got 1.2 million views. Not a very good cost-benefit analysis. And for the Call Me Daddy podcast, that got less than 1 million views for over $150 or whatever $1,000. Look, Rita, just by comparison, the last interview you and I did got over 2 million views, and I'm pretty sure I didn't get paid anywhere near that. Maybe I should be asking for more money.
Yeah, maybe we should stop talking about these figures. And tonight's, if it's not up to 2 million within 48 hours, well, I'll be looking for a new guest, Army. That's how we roll here. I want to talk to you about Katie Hochul, the New York governor, your governor. You are a New Yorker. She wants New Yorkers to be grateful to her for saving them money. And it's a very bizarre way to introduce the concept of a congestion tax. Have a listen.
From day one, I have made affordability for New York families a top priority. I always have, and I always will, fight to put more money in the pockets of everyday New Yorkers.
A very odd way indeed, Army, to announce a $9 congestion tax. It's pretty steep. And to pretend that she's saving people money, wow, the chutzpah on her.
Yeah, great word, chutzpah, love it. Listen, it's interesting. I live in New York, right? So this directly affects me. And the truth is that we do have a problem with our infrastructure. And by the way, and that's the way it needed to be framed, right? She's not saving anybody. It's costing people money. And by the way, you know who it's costing? It's not a progressive tax at all. It's going to cost the people who have to commute in here, particularly the poor and working class who have to live outside the city because they can't afford the rents in Manhattan, more money than the rich who live here. That's the bigger problem, frankly, is that she's going after her own constituency. But she should have framed it a different way, saying, look, we have a crumbling infrastructure. We have a problem in our bus system, the trains, the subways, and then we need to fix it. And this is the only way we can fix it. She framed it that way. Maybe people will get aboard, but doing it the way she is just so disingenuous and wrong. It's ridiculous.
Before you go, we've got a case of like father, like son. When I saw this vision of Hunter Biden at Disneyland, I thought he was Joe for a second. The family resemblance there is a little bit disturbing. He's got that Joe Biden days happening. And Army, anyone who's seen the contents of his laptop, the images and videos we can't show you on this family-friendly show, might be questioning what he's doing at Disney.
Yeah, well, that's the cost of spending a lot of time with hookers and a lot of blow. I mean, that's the kind of days it puts you in. So, yeah, maybe we spent a little more of a clean life, clean living. You might have looked better. But, hey, I'm never going to fault the guy for going to Disneyland. It's the happiest place on earth. Good for him. I got no problem with that.
Well, yes. I don't know if he was enjoying himself, though, judging by the vision we've just shown. Army Horowitz, always a pleasure. Thanks for your time tonight.
Pleasure is mine.